Today, I wanted to do a quick how-to on the process of merging the ALS mannequin character to the ALS base character. There was a request to go through and do this process because I'd helped them do it remotely and it had solved an issue that they were having. And this is something that I've covered previously in the process of one of my other tutorials. But I thought it would be helpful just to have it all by itself in case you want to do this process for another plugin or another asset, or just to get rid of that extra character, because for some people that may cause some issues. It gets a little confusing when you're working with the ALS based character and you don't see the mannequin there. So this is something that with the mannequin character, it's not really needed, that second character. And so but it does cause some issues when you remove it with the multiplayer map, for instance. So let's go ahead and go through the process by opening first your ALS project. And if you have an existing project, that's fine. It can be one that has other assets in there. It just needs to have the ALS files. And under Advanced Locomotion V3 Blueprints, there needs to be that mannequin character. So once you're in there, let's go ahead and open up the mannequin character really quick and look at what it's doing. You notice first that the mesh, which would be the actual character that you're seeing, has a different location. It's lowered and it's rotated. Also, you can see here's where that skeletal mesh is set. So perhaps you have another character that you've swapped out for this, and it's set here, and it's not set in that ALS base character. Another way that we can see some of the other settings that are custom here is on the upper right, you'll see a little eyeball. If you click Show Only Modified Properties, and then right-click on where it says Mesh in the left, and hit Expand All, and then do the same thing under Advanced Locomotion System, same thing on Rendering, and you might have to hit the drop-down arrow for rendering because it's in kind of an extra area. There you'll see here are all the custom settings that are set in this child blueprint. And so what we want to do is go through the process of getting all of these settings into the ALS based character. So go ahead and open up the ALS based character as well. All right, so the first thing that we'll want to do is let's go ahead and get the mesh over there. So to do this, you can click the viewport on the ALS based character just so you can see what we're working with. And then you'll see the mesh. On the left-hand side, click mesh. And at the right-hand side, you'll see it currently is select to none. So what we want to do is go back to the ALS base character, or the mannequin character. Right-click on skeletal mesh and choose copy. That's going to copy the exact location of that mannequin or whatever character you have. And then go back to the ALS based character, right click where it says skeletal mesh and hit paste. Okay, you now see there's the mannequin. It is different. There's something not quite right about the mannequin. You can tell that it's higher and it's not rotated. And it's not even the same color anymore of the mannequin character. What you could do if you want to have it be the same color, you could just right click on where it says the body beige for override materials in the mannequin character. You could right click on that and hit copy for the 0. And then where it says element 0 on ALS base character, right click, hit paste. But that may not work. It's a little bit different. Another way that you can do this is if you hit search on the mannequin character, you'll see a little search thing. That takes you to that location. Then you go back to the ALS base character and you'll see a little left arrow. Okay, that'll fill it in. We can do the exact same thing. Click the little search on the mannequin character for the chest logo. Okay, that takes you to that location. If you wanted to pick a different color, you could do that at this time as well. And then hit the left arrow. All right, so now we have the same override, and so the character will look the same. On the mannequin character, you can hit compile, and you'll see that those settings that we customized actually went away. Once the settings are exactly the same, they'll go away from that modified property because they're no longer modified. They're the same as the parent blueprint. So we'll need to do this same thing throughout all of these other settings. So let's go ahead and start by finding this location in the ALS-based characters. We're under Advanced Locomotion, Movement System. So if you go to the very top left, ALS-based character self under ALS-based character, and then on the right, you'll see Advanced Locomotion System. Well, we wanted to go to the movement system there, so expand that. And now we'll start seeing some of these settings. There's running speed. Over here, that's the second setting. So that means the walking speed is set exactly the same. It's no different. So what we'll want to do is go to the running speed over here, right click, choose copy on mannequin character. And then let's go back to that running speed on the ALS base character, right click and hit paste. It's now 380. So that's the same setting. We'll do the same thing for sprint speed. Right click it in the mannequin character, go over to ALS base character. Make sure you're always putting it in the right place. One way that you can kind of verify that, go back to your mannequin character, hit compile. And you see those went away because they are now matching. We're going to right click on walking acceleration. And then in the base character, right click and hit paste. Running acceleration. Do the exact same thing. Make sure it goes to running acceleration, not running speed. We'll hit compile. Those will go away. And then the walking deceleration. One thing you can look at is the walking and the running in this one are exactly the same. These are all settings that you can play with. This will kind of affect how your character moves. There's no exactly right setting. It's kind of based on what you want your character to look like. These are just default settings and things that that the maker of the project has tweaked to kind of get that certain look that he does in the demo. So let's go and hit compile here. And now we're down to just a few settings. So we have our running friction. So running ground friction. We want to right click that. Go back. And you'll see at the very bottom, running ground friction. So go and paste that. Compile. All right, now we're down to the first person camera socket. And what this is doing is actually attaching that camera socket to a bone in the mannequin's head. So you can put in here, if you had maybe a different socket on there that you wanted to attach, you could do a different one, but we'll just have head on there. And so we need to go to camera targets or camera system, camera targets. So I'm going to minimize on the ALS based character that movement system. So we see camera system, camera targets, and then you see first person camera socket. I'm going to right click, and there it says head. So now that setting should go away. Let's right click. So let's expand this. So camera system, camera targets, and let's right click and choose expand all. Now this may look like a lot of settings, but we can ignore all the ones that don't have these checkboxes or these little yellow arrows pointing back. These little arrows are meaning that these are customized settings. And so we only need to look at those two. And you'll notice they're the same. Camera lag speed for run and camera lag speed for sprint are both 20. So you can just copy one, right click camera lag speed. And we just need to remember it's run and sprint. And then we need to remember where we're going. So camera system velocity direction. And then we're under looking direction. So velocity direction. Standing. Actually, I'm in the wrong one here, not standing. So we need to, not velocity, we need to do looking direction, standing. And let's make sure we're going the right one. So we got camera targets, looking direction, standing, and then under run, camera lag speed. So we're in the same place here. Camera targets, looking direction, run, camera lag speed. So right click and hit paste. And then we're going to do the exact same thing under sprint. Camera lag speed is now 20. We can now compile this. There we go. All those settings went away. But let's go back to the ALS based character. He still doesn't look right. I mean, he's still not positioned correctly. He's too high and he's facing the wrong way. So we need to undo this show modified properties because this setting doesn't show up when you're doing that for the location and rotation of the mesh. So on the left-hand side on ALS based character, you need to select mesh. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see location and rotation. So we just need to make those the same as the mannequin character. So right click on location on the mannequin character and hit copy. And then go back to that base character, right click on the under mesh, location, and hit paste. You'll see that immediately the mesh drops to the ground and is lower. Do the exact same thing for rotation. Right click on the mannequin character rotation. Copy that. Right click on the rotation on the ALS base character, hit paste. All right. Now we see that the character is facing the right direction. But if you look between the two, there is still one difference. The character is standing in the A pose. It's not actually standing in a natural position based on an animation. And the reason for that is there's one more setting. See here, we're under animation, animation mode, use animation blueprint, and then there's the mannequin anim BP. Well, if you go to the mesh in ALS based character, it's selected to none right now. So to get this put in there, go back to the mannequin character under anim class, right click. Well, it won't let you do that. You could do the mode, but instead what we need to do is click that little search. So that'll take us right to the file because this is a file. And there's the mannequin anim BP. So what we need to do is then go to that ALS based character and under mesh, animation class, hit that left arrow. There we go. It's filled it in. And now you can see the character standing and breathing and kind of doing the natural resting position for ALS. So up to this point, we have gotten all the settings. There should be no more settings that are custom. If you scroll down, you'll see no little yellow arrows. And they are all the same. So go ahead and close both of those. And then go to Content, Advanced Locomotion V3. And then we will go to Blueprints. And then we'll select that mannequin character. What you might want to do first, this should be fine, just in case your project isn't quite right. Right click on Content and do Fix Up Redirectors in case you've been working in something else. And we just want to make sure all the files are how they should be. If this is a fresh project, it won't have anything there. So select that mannequin character, hit delete, and then it'll ask you, what do you want to replace this file with? Because there are references to it. So in the game mode, this character is being referenced. That's what's telling it that if you drop something into the level that has a start character, that's the one that it'll drop in there. So we want to replace that. So whenever a new character is spawned, it uses this ALS base character instead. Also, these levels have characters in them by default. So let's go ahead, hit the drop down on none, and choose ALS base character. Replace references. Now you're going to get an error. And this is because, well, first of all, right in our level here, it's being referenced. It's being referenced a number of places. So it's going to complain. So just right click on content once. Fix up redirectors. Hit save all. And then you'll need to close the project. Because for some reason you could keep doing fix up redirectors. It'll keep going through the exact same circle of giving you a message saying it's actually fixing those things, but it's not. Closing the project once, reopening it, and then we'll go ahead and do the fix up redirectors one more time. This time it'll actually work. Hit save all. Let's do a quick play. All right, so you see an error message. You might be getting this and saying, okay, well, how do I fix this? Because I'm not in that level even. Well, you're going to have to open that level. So we could test it really quick. The current level, so the one that we're in is the single player level, demo level. And the one that has the error is the multiplayer demo level. So go ahead and hit yes for now. And you can see that it's actually working. It's got that character that we expected. It seems to be operating and moving just like it was before. So there doesn't really seem to be an issue. The bot's moving correctly. So that is all fine, other than that demo level. So let's go ahead and go to Content Advanced Locomotion V3, go to Maps, and then you'll see the demo level for the multiplayer isn't saved correctly because there's an error in it. So go ahead and double click and open that. It'll say, do you want to save selected? You can hit yes. Well, in this level, there should be 4 characters. We can see these characters if you go to, on the top, in the middle, there's a button called Blueprints, and then click Open Level Blueprint. Well, this is the one having the compile error. There's a number of errors here. First of all, these actor references, they are all saying unknown because the actors that were on this level are now gone because we've deleted them. They're direct references to 4 instances of that mannequin character. So to fix this, what we'll do is under Advanced Locomotion V3, open up Blueprints, and then drag the ALS base character out onto the screen 4 times total. So we want 4 copies of the ALS base character. And so now these will be sitting here. And if you click on one of them, you'll see them listed on the upper right world outliner. So what we need to do is select the first one and then drag it to the tab of the multiplayer level and just drag it on that screen. It'll put a reference to that particular character. You'll need to do this for each individual reference. So click and drag it over. And they each need to be the unique one. You don't want to drag the same one 4 times. So as you can see here, they're named differently: ALS base character, ALS base character 2, ALS base character 3, and 4. So I now have 4 references. Now, if I try to just drag and replace the previous reference, I get an error saying it's not compatible. Well, that's not a big problem. What we can do is actually create a new one. We'll create a new select. So drag off of that ALS base character created, and then search for select. You'll see select with kind of a yellow symbol. Hit enter on that, and it'll create a very similar box to the one that existed previously. We will need 2 more pins on that. So hit add pin twice, and then you should have options 0 through 3. So go ahead and start dragging those ALS base character references into each of those options. So now I have those all filled, and I'll need to move this index down. So if you control left, so on the lower left control, hold that down and drag index to the new index. Same thing for the return value. Hold down control and drag from return value down to the other return value. Now that option's been fully replaced. So what you can do is delete that old select, and those ones that say unknown, you can delete those. Hit compile, save, and then go ahead and go back to that multiplayer demo level, and let's hit play. All right. That seems to work. Let's do a quick example of maybe loading up 3 characters. Now, the first time it might give you an error, so let's go ahead and do this one more time, because sometimes I found that it doesn't actually possess every character the first time. So now let's go and try it in a second. There we go. So we had 3 players all running together, and you could do 4 players with this one. So this is one way to do it. But let's go ahead and go back to that single player map. So content, advanced locomotion v3, maps. Go back to that single player. Right click on content, fix up redirectors, save all. Now you should have a project that does not have that sub mannequin character. You're down to 1 character, so this will make it easier for you to open it up, start working with it, see changes right away, and not get confused by the possibility of not seeing a mesh in here and seeing your immediate results. So hopefully that helps you out. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I encourage you to join our Discord. It's a place where we hang out, talk about game development throughout the week, and it's a great way to help show support for my series. If you have any series that you'd like to see, possibly a certain topic, you can leave it here in one of the messages, or you could go through and put it in the suggestions channel on the Discord. So thank you very much for watching this. Hopefully it helps you in working with ALS, and I will talk to you all later.